The life of the Prophet Muhammad. Seeking rain through the Prophet's blessed face. Ibn Asakir narrates from Jilhama bin Arfa, I came to Mecca when the people were afflicted by drought. The Quraysh approached Abu Talib and said, the valley is parched and the people are suffering. Let us go to the Kaaba and pray for rain. Hazrat Abu Talib emerged, holding a young boy whose face shone like a bright sun, as if a thick cloud had just parted. Around the boy were other children. Abu Talib placed the boy's back against the Kaaba and held his hand, with the boy holding Abu Talib's finger. At that time, the sky was clear, devoid of any clouds. However, suddenly, clouds began to gather from all directions, and it rained so heavily that the valley flooded, rejuvenating the barren land. Later, Abu Talib commemorated this event in his poetry, saying, he whose radiant face is sought for rain, a refuge for orphans and a protector of widows, protected from gatherings of entertainment. While living with Abu Talib, two notable incidents occurred during the Prophet's early years. Once, during the hot season in Mecca, a gathering of singing and entertainment was arranged. The Prophet, intending to attend, entrusted the care of the sheep he was tending to a fellow shepherd. He walked a considerable distance to the gathering, but, exhausted from the heat, lay under a tree to rest. He fell asleep and did not wake up until the event was over. From that day onward, the Prophet never thought of attending such gatherings of amusement. Shielded from idol worship. Another significant incident involved an annual ritual at a site with two sacred date palms near a shrine called Bawana. Here, people would offer sacrifices to the idol, shave their heads, and perform other pagan rites. The Prophet was often invited to participate in these rituals, but would always refuse. On one occasion, at the insistence of his uncles and aunts, the Prophet accompanied them to the site, but disappeared from their sight for a while. When they found him, his face bore signs of distress. When asked what had happened, he said, whenever I tried to approach the idol, a tall, white figure would appear before me and say, O Muhammad, stay back. Do not touch the idol. After this incident, the Prophet refrained from attending any gatherings involving idol worship or pagan sacrifices. Encounter with a fortune teller. Once, a renowned soothsayer from the Banu Lahab tribe visited Mecca. People brought their children to him for predictions. Abu Talib also brought the young Prophet along with his own children. When the soothsayer saw the Prophet, he became deeply intrigued but was momentarily distracted by another task. Later, he asked for the child to be brought to him again. Sensing his unusual curiosity, Abu Talib sent the Prophet home. The soothsayer, realizing the missed opportunity, exclaimed, Bring that child to me. By God, he is destined for greatness. The trade journey to Syria. Like his forefathers, Abu Talib was engaged in trade and would annually journey to Syria for business. When the Prophet was about 12 years old, Abu Talib prepared for such a journey. The young Prophet expressed a desire to accompany him. Initially, Abu Talib, concerned about the hardships of travel for a child, hesitated. However, the Prophet's love for his uncle was so profound that he clung to him tearfully when Abu Talib was about to leave. Unable to separate himself from the boy, Abu Talib decided to take him along. Historians mention that during this journey, a Christian monk named Bahira observed signs in the Prophet that aligned with descriptions of a foretold prophet in ancient scriptures. Bahira warned Abu Talib that if the Jewish or Christian leaders in Syria recognized these signs, the child's life might be endangered. Concerned for the Prophet's safety, Abu Talib curtailed the journey and returned to Mecca. This significant event will, God willing, be detailed further in the next episode. The first journey to Syria and meeting with Bahira the monk. When Prophet Muhammad was about 12 years old, according to some accounts, 12 years, 2 months, and 10 days, his uncle Abu Talib decided to take him along on a trade journey to Syria. The caravan reached near the city of Basra, a major trade center in Syria at that time and part of the Roman Empire. Near Basra, there was a monastery where a Christian monk named Bahira resided. Bahira was a scholar of the scriptures and well-versed in the signs of the last prophet mentioned in the heavenly books. He was known to be a monotheist, free from the practices of polytheism. Bahira's attention. As the caravan approached, Bahira observed an unusual phenomenon. From his monastery, he saw a cloud providing shade to one of the boys in the caravan and following him wherever he went. Bahira immediately realized that this boy was of extraordinary significance. For the first time, Bahira left his monastery and approached the caravan. He carefully observed everyone until his eyes fell upon Prophet Muhammad. He took hold of his hand and exclaimed, "This is the leader of the worlds, the messenger of the Lord of the universe, whom Allah will send as a mercy for all creation." Abu Talib, surprised, asked, "How do you know this?" Bahira replied, "When you all emerged from the mountain pass, I saw a cloud shading this boy. I also noticed that the stones and trees bowed down before him, which they do only for a prophet. Additionally, I have seen the seal of prophethood between his shoulders, as described in our scriptures."